Good morning, everyone. I'm Kate Francis, your host from good old Knoxville, Tennessee. I can't tell you that it's just a beautiful morning because we had much needed rain here. So it's a little on the wet side. But we named this Fireside Chat because I think if you remember in the spring and part of the summer, I did some Let's Just Talk. Well, we're inside the house now and you can't see it, but there I'm sitting right next to a fireplace. So that's how I picked the name. It's more casual. It's like whatever comes to mind we talk about because people relate to that as well. It doesn't always have to be a serious topic. But I haven't had a topic yet that there wasn't some kind of a message. That therapist just keeps coming out. Like, what am I going to tell you? And if you're wondering what I'm wearing here, this mouse, there's a little story behind the mouse. Uh, thank God it's not a rat, but it is a cute mouse. And I'm stopped, and whenever I'm wearing it, I'm stopped and asked about it. And they always ask me if I named it. People recognize me downtown when I have a mouse on. Now, I don't think that says much for my face, but it's okay. Better they look at the mouse, all right? But I have to tell you, I'm thinking I should get a name for it and wear it more often, you know. So if any of you want to email me some names, let's see how creative we can get and give it a name. I'm all for it. You know, I want to give you a glimpse because a lot of you out there may have never visited Knoxville or even been around in the surrounding areas. And I just read where it was just named in the top five of the most interesting and fun places to vacation or visit. Top five in the US. And so, why is that? Well, let me give you a little glimpse of this town. It started out much smaller when I first came here. It's much bigger now because everybody is moving up here. And we love all of you, but the traffic, but I say no more. But it's got boating, it has rock climbing, it has swimming. We have all kinds of lakes. People don't realize that this is a very major boating area, actually. The lakes are beautiful here. We have mountain biking, we have walking and hiking groups. It goes on and on. And these are all things people do. You can hike just about anywhere, and there's nothing like the Smokies and Caves Cove if you ever come. It's a beautiful ride through there. And will you see a bear? Most likely. In fact, they fed them so much that they're not supposed to do that sometimes we see them where we don't want to see them. But, people don't think. So I have to tell you that it has just about we have a lot of free entertainment. Like we have the first Friday in downtown Knoxville. We have a big square downtown. And all the art places and all the shops stay open and everybody walks around and they serve things like snacks and you can go in and see all the artwork. There's a lot of art here and you can go in and look at all of the interesting shops and what have you, all free. And it's just a fun evening. So I really like that. And by the way, come the winter, we have an ice skating rink downtown. As I'm chatting away here, I'm thinking, God, Kay, you sound like the Chamber of Commerce that you're trying to sell the place. I'm not good at selling or marketing. As most of you know, I like to be in the back of things. And so if you had a product and I believed in it, I could sell it like crazy. But to sell myself, that ain't going to happen. So I have to thank all of you because we are growing. So you are helping me in that area very much so, and I appreciate it. Well, let me give you even a deeper glimpse. Did you know that Kenny Chesney, the singer, was born in Knoxville and started his career here before he went to Nashville? In fact, on rare occasion, you might see him in our downtown square. I actually have seen him from a distance, And I'm from the thinking that you don't bother them. You don't run up to them because they've got enough of that in their life. But you can see him. They say he's extremely friendly and very open with people. And then, of course, what else can we claim to fame? Dolly Parton. And everyone in this country knows Dolly Parton. I don't have to say too much about her, do I? Other than she was born in the Appalachians and would be considered by the term dirt poor. And I don't know if you know what that means, but that means pretty close to destitute, living off the land. And she was a determined little girl. And you've maybe seen her movie on The Coat of Many Colors. But well, you know what? We're going to have a topic because it's going to happen right now. She is a classic example of somebody of great wealth who came from nothing, but had an attitude, a good attitude, a positive attitude, and a belief that she could do it, that she could live her dream. And at the same time, and I'm not sure of her age because I think I'm maybe older than her, and I don't know 1B. I don't know what that's all about, but whatever. She's been around quite a while, and she has never not stepped up to the plate when someone was in need. She has helped build the state of Tennessee with her generosity. She has given beyond. For instance, during the fires, she donated a huge amount of money so people could find living and help that cause. She just goes on and on. She has the books for children that they get every month for free. She's been in movies. What hasn't she done? She's amazing. Now, for you women out there, if you didn't like her so much, you may not be happy with her small waist. Because she's got the smallest waist I've ever seen. And what an attitude. What an attitude. And what a difference it makes because she has remained and was always humble. She had integrity, good morals. Her belief in God was great. She is a woman that displays it and walks the talk. And everyone likes her. And so I hear people complain that they didn't have this in their childhood and they didn't have that and they didn't have the advantages, all kinds of excuses for them not being happy with their life. And isn't that unfortunate? Because she is the perfect example of coming from nothing, but having the diligence, the faith in her life, the self-confidence, and great determination to do it. And she never lost balance. She never did it for power and wealth. She did it because it was her dream to sing and write music. I hope those of you who struggle in your life to feel peaceful, to feel happy with yourself, to feel that, yeah, you know, no one guaranteed us a life of no heartaches or no suffering or no struggles and disappointments. You don't think she had those along the way? Of course she did. She did not build all this without it because it comes with the territory. It's life. But she wasn't easily discouraged. And her attitude was loving and compassionate. She cared about other people. And the last thing and I say it almost in every podcast, but the last thing I point out is Dolly happens to be an excellent listener. She really listens when someone really talks to her. She's never too busy. So I just want to bring that up to you for those who don't have those characteristics. Because without them, I guarantee you, if you're all wrapped up in your success having to be great wealth, and self-importance, good luck, because we need other people. We need support. You're not going to experience really meaningful relationships. You're not going to have good friends that support you when you're up and down. You're not going to experience that kind of inner peace and that kind of self confidence because, bottom line, you're so insecure that it gets in your way. It stops you from being compassionate. So I guarantee you that you're not going to always feel very successful, but you're going to keep searching and wanting more and keep searching when you really need to work on yourself because that's the attitude. And that's why we ended up in this topic that I didn't plan because I was mentioning Dolly Parton because she is a classic example. So I want to give you just 8, let's see if there's 7 or 8 that I jotted down of how you can change. I warn you, no matter how much money you acquire, whatever your status, how big it is, and however important you believe you are, I'm here to tell you it cannot guarantee you good health, a life of no heartaches and struggle, or the good friends that we all need. It can't give you the faith of what you can't see that is right there for you to see. But it does guarantee you and free you with change of these particular damaging characteristics. Your insecurities. Can you imagine to be free of your insecurities that are so deep that you remain stuck in negativity? You can free yourself from it's a burden to have to feel that you have to be on all the time, which also leads to the need to have attention all the time, approval, recognition, pats on the back, no matter what your attitude is. You constantly need to prove how important you are. You take up the room. You're not a good listener. That would free you and you would be able to listen and appreciate others. And that leads to awareness, compassion, the ability to care, the ability to want to help others as well, not just with the motive of, well, how can they help me? You have a desperate need for approval, actually, and the need for attention, for praise. So, can you imagine how these things that I have just talked about, if you took on those characteristics, how great your life could turn into a different person? Not totally different, but it certainly would enhance your life. It would, I think the best way to say it is it could give you an attitude adjustment, an adjustment that is all to your benefit. Now, I will say this if you're a classic narcissist, no, that's not going to happen. So you don't even have to listen to this part of it because a classic narcissist, they're not going to they're not going to change. So if you relate to any of these characteristics, any of them, you don't have to have them all, but if you relate to many of them, I highly recommend that you seriously consider counseling by a well trained, licensed therapist because you can change if you're not that person, that personality. And that's the good news. When people say, oh, well, this is just me, is it ever just us? Or are we open and honest and objective enough to go and get help? Because you need it. If you're any of those characteristics, you need to start the unraveling of what set them in motion to begin with. And not to dwell on that, because we all have dysfunction in our family to some degree, some more than others, but we don't have to be stuck in it, all right? So, and I've told you that many times, but when Dolly Parton came up, I thought, this is the time, because to be humble is to have compassion, and it is to be able to appreciate people, and also not to be judgmental, not to be judgmental, even when you hear or see something you personally don't agree with or don't like. Pray for them. Let's face it, this is November 1st. What do we have coming up on the 4th? Ho hum. We have an election. Now, you know I don't get into politics, and I'm not going to now, other than to say that we've never had this much decisiveness, families arguing with each other, people. I have patients coming in saying they're afraid of what to expect, all types of things that have really not been good and haven't gotten better. And by the way, I think they will get a little worse, no matter who the vote's for. I'm not going there. This is not a political conversation. But you all recognize that things are kind of angry in our world. We see the fight for power. We see all of that. We understand that we're just people, we're just human beings, but we can vote, that I'll say. That's the little piece we can do. And whichever way you vote, it's fine. Just make sure you do that. Just honor yourself and your country by voting. Especially you young people that now can vote. I've heard so many of you say, oh, I'm not going to bother. And that's a shame. I couldn't wait till I was the age to vote. But not all kids feel that way anymore. But a lot of you do. And you're the ones that are going to be the next leaders. So get involved. And I also want to go back to discuss the last interview with Tracy Jones again. I have had wonderful comments. People that were so grateful to hear the humor. I had one woman tell me, and I didn't realize what she was going through until after she told me. She said she really needed to hear it early that morning, the next morning after it came out. And she said the timing couldn't have been better. So we thank her. And yes, will we have her back? You bet. She will come back. So with all this said, I want to know what you want. It's not for me. I've been doing this for 40 years. It's something I can share. And maybe there's some little lesson or something that gives you an aha moment. Does my heart good to be able to give that and to give back. That's why I like a little bit of the therapy. I don't do therapy exactly, but I certainly hit on topics that bring things to the surface. So you can always ask me a question by emailing me, and I would be happy to answer it. Tracy said she'd be happy to answer any questions. So thank you all for joining me today. I always am pleased to sit here and just chat with you. And I have to admit, Kevin was really at me to do this. And I finally am comfortable. I finally am not, afraid because I'm not behind the scenes. I mean, you see me, here I am in all of my glory. So, but before we close, I do have a request for each of you. If you have just 5 minutes, could you email me and let me know if you like the YouTube format? We want to hear if you're enjoying this. A simple yes or no is all you need to do. Just email real quick and just say, yes, like it, no. Or you could just give me the thumb up or the thumb down. I know what that means. See, I'm with it. And so your feedback, believe it or not, is really important. And don't hesitate to suggest a topic you would like me to talk about. If it's appropriate and it's something that I have knowledge of, by gosh, I'll do it. And in closing, I wish you well. And as always, I pray for all of your safety. I don't know where you're at in the world, where you are in the States, but I pray for safety. I pray for a election that, well, how can I put it? What word can I use? That all people feel comfortable. So remember, thank you again as we continue to grow. It is what it is, or is it? And that's thanks to you, because I can't make that happen all by myself. Keep the faith, never give up hope, and know when to let go. Thank you very much, and God bless all of you.